What's going on, everybody? This is Bobby Mack here from the Huevos Ketchup podcast. We got Ray here. We got a special guest with us today. We got the Batman of San Antonio. What's going on, brother?
Oh man, thanks for having me, guys.
Oh man, dude, man, we love it. You know what? When I asked, or when I sent you a message on through Facebook Messenger, I was like, please say yes.
He told me about it. I was like, I don't know if he's gonna reply, man. Because I was just like,
honestly, I try to reply within like 5 minutes, unless something is desperately going on or I'm in the middle of an event. You know, as soon as the notification goes off, I try to be respectful of everybody's time and answer.
Yeah, dude. And then when I saw
asking him, like, are we sure we're gonna get him? Are we sure we're gonna get him?
I was like, dude. And then when I saw him reply, I was like, oh my god, that is the dude. Like, you're probably one of the guests that we've had on here that I was just so stoked to have on here, man.
Yeah, to us, you're kind of like a top here.
Yeah,
oh, thanks.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So if you're not familiar with what we do on our podcast, we try to highlight local people that do extraordinary things or just things different, and we kind of want to showcase them and let people know, hey, these people are out here in our city. Right. Like I said, a few weeks ago, we had the San Antonio Ghost Hunters. We're also here in a couple of weeks. We're going to have a lady on here who was she served overseas, and she's going to come in here and talk about PTSD and some things like that, like a lot of misconceptions.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I want to get down to it, man. So what is it exactly that you do, Batman? Like, what is it that you do for our city, and what is it that you do for your? I guess it's your company.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So.
Basically, I'm living a kindergartner's dream, man. It's something I always wanted to do, and I get to do it as an adult, which is awesome. But the ultimate goal, what I tell everybody, is just to motivate and inspire children as well as adults to unleash their inner hero. And it basically means just make everybody try to be the best versions of themselves. That's the thing. And if I have to do it wearing the cape and cowl and just give somebody a reason to just want to be better than they are, and that's what it is.
That's awesome. So do you feel that by doing that, by inspiring, I would say probably, mostly young kids, right? I mean, obviously, because look, I'm geeking out, Batman's here. Yeah. So, but it's like, but mostly for like these young kids, like when you go to these schools and you go to, do things like that, do you feel in that sense you are fighting crime? Because as a result, these kids may not take that wrong turn as they get older, if they're inspired just to be just better people.
Yeah, and it comes down to giving these kids, because and I tell everybody, you don't need a mask or a cape or superpowers to be a hero. You just you need a strong heart. And I tell everybody, the hardest thing you can do is be yourself.
Yeah.
And whoever that is, it's whatever you believe, it's whoever you love. Just embracing that is really tough. So when I go to schools and I talk to kids about, not being a bully, embrace who you are, love your fellow man, even if you may not always agree with them, that's difficult. And I've had some events where a teacher told me, this particular class is full of bullies, and you need to come down hard on them, use that voice and really kind of put the fear of God into them. And I have a couple of times. And one time, I was really just not painting a pretty picture. I was being very real with these kids about, the trauma of being a bully. And after I was done, a little girl came up to me. She told me that she was contemplating ending her life that day because of some rumors that a boy was spreading about her because she didn't want to be his girlfriend. So she was just saying the worst possible things.
Yeah, for real.
And, so her friends were comforting her and just holding on to her. And she's like, if it hadn't been for you, talking about, you have to be who you are and really putting these guys in their place, she may not have been there after that conversation. So when you hear little stories like that, and you see that little twinkle in a child's eye or even an adult's eye, that makes it all worthwhile.
Well, not only did you save her, man, you saved the family, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, I have a 1-year-old, and I could not, I couldn't even fathom, him getting to the point to where he would want to take his own life.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's just, oh man, it's so disgusting. And the thing is that kids now, they have to deal with not just like bullying like when I was younger or, when you were younger.
Yeah, they take our lunch money, and that was about it.
Yeah, but now it's online. Yep. They take pictures. They make, what are they called? Memes. You got to make memes of these kids and all this stuff. And so it's like, who do they have really to look up to that's, modern? You know what I mean? And someone that's timeless like Batman.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because Batman wasn't only in the 50s and 60s. He's so relevant today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's there's the movies, there's all these cool gadgets that he has and stuff like that, and I think he's the most relatable superhero.
Yeah.
I mean, because think about it. Like, we're not going to be able to fly anywhere.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Before we get too far into this, I just want to ask him real quick. What made you kind of start doing all this? Like, was there something that happened that made you decide you wanted to start, trying?
Like I said, man, ever since I was in kindergarten, I knew I wanted to be Batman. And when I talk to kids, I tell them, find your passion, and you may be too young to find it, but when you know what you want to do, go after it. Go after it with both hands, and don't let anybody take it from you. It's my first day of kindergarten. The teacher's like, so what do you want to be when you grow up? What do you want to be? What do you want to be? She's going through the whole class, and I'm sitting there, man. I'm excited. It's the first day of school. Like, this is how I'm going to do it. And I remember very plainly, they asked this little girl, Lisa, what do you want to be when you grow up? And so Lisa looks up. She's like, I want to be a unicorn. And my teacher's like, you could be a unicorn. Then she's like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I'm like, I want to be Batman. And she's like, you can't be Batman. I was heartbroken. I was like, dude, everybody got told yes, but I couldn't be Batman.
Well, you can't be Batman, but this little girl can
She could be a unicorn. So I went home and I'm talking to my dad, and he's like, if there's something you want it more than anything else in the world, you put everything towards it. Don't let your dream become a nightmare. And so, I went to school, I graduated, I went to college, I did all this stuff. And it was after wanting to dress up, after I had seen the Christian Bale version of Batman, I really kind of got into it. And I was at Walmart, of all places, and a parent was like, hey, our kid loves Batman. Could he have a picture? I'm like, yeah, sure, where is he? And come to find out, he was in the hospital, battling cancer. And so that was Halloween night. I saw him. It was one of the most transformative things I had ever had happen to me. And the seeds for the Batman of San Antonio happened right there. 2 months later, I ended up getting hit by somebody who was texting and driving. Fractured every bone on the left side of my body. I was pretty much left for dead. And just through a series of miracles, I was able to piece myself together. And, I gained a lot of weight because, I was depressed, I was sad. And just being around all these kids while I was in physical therapy, dude, they never had a bad day. They were missing limbs or they were burned, and they were so incredibly positive. And I was like, you know what, dude, I got to get up, I got to lose the weight, and I got to do exactly what I wanted to do as a kid, and that's be Batman. So, I took as much time as I needed. I dropped the body weight. I went into work, and I'm like, I quit. There was no plan B. There was nothing. It was just like, jump in, make it happen, sink or swim. And so, from that day, the Batman of San Antonio has been going strong.
Damn, dude, that's stories like that are just so incredible, man. And I think people need to hear stuff like that because, I hear things like that sometimes, like where people are like, I walked into work and I was just like, I'm done. I'm gonna be a tightrope walker. So I don't whatever. And it's just like, dude, me personally, I don't know if it's lack of ambition or what, but I couldn't go into work and be like,
yeah, I think I'm done.
It's scary, man. My dad told me, I always tell kids, it's always good to have a backup and a reserve. That's the best thing to do. But for me personally, my dad was like, look, if you have a plan B, you expect plan A to fail. Yeah. So I was like, I cannot have a plan B. You have to do this, and it has to work. And I was blessed, very blessed.
Absolutely.
I'll be honest with you, I don't know anybody that has ever done anything like that.
Yeah, it's a scary thing, man. It really is.
Yeah, man. I hear about stuff like, oh yeah, I quit my job, and I was, I want to go be a motivational speaker.
Yeah.
You do what?
Yeah, I want to open a food truck. Like, are you crazy?
Yeah, are you nuts, man? But I think just that mindset, not so much of going and quitting your job, but what I think that mindset of there's something I want to do and I should do it.
Yeah.
Because life really isn't that long. It's not. If you really think about it, shit, not that long ago, I was how old was I when we met? 24?
Something like that.
God, and I'm like 800 years old now, dude. It's like, it's bad. But you mentioned the accident that you got hit and run. I want to talk a little bit about that if you don't mind.
Yeah.
What was that like? You were so I was reading the article. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I was reading the article, and you were jogging. You were out for a morning jog.
Oh, you weren't in a vehicle?
No.
I
was working retail, and it was Christmas time. It was just one of those 16-hour days. I got home like I just need to just kind of brush it all off. So I went out for a jog, and I'd already done my 2 miles. I'm literally crossing the street to go home, and I just see headlights, and I was like, this is it. So I automatically thought, everybody tenses up when they get hit. Just be loose, man. Just like some cooked spaghetti. So I just kind of let my body just go. When I got hit, I remember flipping up, landing on the hood through the dashboard, and just all the air was expelled out of my lungs.
You went through the window?
Yeah, I went through the windshield. So I was sitting there, with my behind on her windshield, and then she gets on the phone, she's screaming bloody murder, like, I hit a guy, he's dead. And everybody would think like, you would gasp, like kind of take a breath in. And the air is actually expelled from you. So I'm like, oh, I'm not dead. I'm not dead. And that's all I can say.
Yeah.
And so she keeps driving for about another 100, 150 yards. She hits the brakes. I fly face first into a tree.
Dude, so she takes, so she's still driving with you.
Yeah, she's driving with me. She's freaking out.
So she was still, you could hear her talking while she was still driving with you?
Yeah, I could hear it because, like I said, I was half in and half out. So my ass was on her windshield, and I was just kind of through there, and my body had just busted through. So I could hear everything. She was screaming. I mean, she was screaming loud. I mean, obviously. And so when she hit, I went face first into a tree, and I just slumped down. And I couldn't move my body, but I felt nothing but pain. So it was one of those things where time simultaneously goes fast and slow.
Yeah.
So it happened so quick, but I remember every single moment of it because it was torture. And so I thought, well, if I'm in pain, I'm not paralyzed, because if I couldn't feel anything, I was paralyzed. So that's when I was screwed. But I couldn't move anything, So I kept talking to my body, and I kept talking to my left hand because I'm left-handed. I'm like, talking to my pinky, like, just twitch, do something. And she came out. She's like, "Sir, are you okay?" She's kind of kicking at me, and she couldn't hear me talk. I wasn't moving, so she got in her car. She took off. And I was just there. I was just a slump on the side. And luckily, there was an off-duty paramedic just a few minutes later that pulled by, saw something that didn't quite look right on the side of the road. The guy came out and, turned me over. And that's when I felt this weird stuff on my back, and all of my clothes had just shredded off of my back, just going through the glass. And at that point, I was already kind of moving my fingers, and I was talking to my right hand. And after every finger would move, I was like, pinky, move. And it would move. I'm like, ring finger, pointer finger, middle finger, thumb, make a fist. And I was like, good boys, just kind of as loud as I could, which was not very loud at all. So the guy turns me over. He's like, do you know your name? Do you know your age? I'm like, yeah, this is my name. This is my age. He calls it in, and, paramedics, show up a few minutes later. People from my apartment complex are coming out. They're like, "Where's the other car?" I'm like, "There was no other car. It was just me. I got hit." And so, they're calling it in. It's a hit and run. They end up finding the girl a few minutes later, and everything just kind of spawned on from there. But it was just one of those harrowing experiences where you're like, yeah, it could end right here.
Yeah.
And if it did, what have you done with your life? Was it worth it? And I was like, no, this is how it has to happen.
And real quick, I can edit this out if you don't want this on there. But is she like in jail for?
She spent a night in jail. That was it. So
is she like
like
clean?
Basically, everything was like she didn't have insurance. She was underage. So I called every single attorney that I could come up. Everybody's like, call me and I'm gonna fight. Nobody fought for me. Nobody did anything. I had medical bills I had to take care of. I had all this stuff. And it was just one of those things where I thought, I could either be really angry and really bitter, or I can just do my best to bring it to people's attention. Don't text and drive. There is no phone call. There is no text that's worth somebody else's life. So I became a big proponent of that. I worked.
Was that what she was doing? Sorry.
She was just texting. She was texting and driving, And so once I got hit, she immediately started calling somebody. Like, I killed this guy, I'm over here, and this and that happened. I don't know what he is. And he's dead. And all I could say is like, I'm not dead. So, I started working with like Mothers Against Drunk Driving, talking to people like, I don't care whether you're taking a drink, taking a smoke, changing a CD or a radio, nothing is worth it. Nothing's worth your life or somebody else's. Because even if you're alive and you kill somebody, you're spending the rest of your life in prison. You're away from your friends, you're away from your family, your future gone. Nobody needs that.
Yeah,
that's crazy. She's just driving around.
Just one night in jail. So then, so then I guess kind of piggyback off of that. Like, so does that kind of I mean, I would call it injustice. I personally would, because if somebody almost kills me, granted you lived through it, and terrible deal. But if somebody almost killed me and put me through all that, and then just did a night in jail and just kind of like that was it, like I would feel that's kind of an injustice. You know what I mean? Like I would feel that does that kind of spark that, what, something needs to be done, man. Like,
yeah, it's definitely a parallel with Batman. Something really bad happened to me, and I didn't want it to happen to anybody else. So there are those weekends where I'm like, no cowl, no cape. I get to spend time with my family, with my little girl, just be dad.
Yeah.
And somebody will message me like, hey, can you show up to this event? And I'm like, yes, absolutely. Because I remember, when I needed a hero, I needed somebody there for me. So if I can do it for somebody else, then it's yes. That's the fire.
Real quick, because you just said something like that. Who was? I mean, other than of course Batman on either TV, cartoon, or movie.
Yeah.
Was there anyone when you were going to school that would actually go to your school and kind of do stuff?
Just in kindergarten, we had a guy that called himself Officer Friendly. He was just like, police officers are your friend. You trust us, and we're there to protect you and take care of you. But other than that, there wasn't anybody that really came, sports personalities or anything like that. It was just be your own hero. Just do what you got to do.
Yeah, I mean, but something like that, like that's where it's at, because let's just face it. I mean, I'm not trying to talk trash about the Spurs or anything, but none of those guys are going to really come and talk to the kids about.
I don't want Smokey the Bear coming over here.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What was his name? McGruff, the crime dog.
The crime dog. Yeah,
that's right.
I'll say Clifford. That's the big red dog.
Yeah, that's a big red dog. We're talking about McGruff, the crime dog. Mm-hmm. But so you did kind of mention your family a little bit. So and you did mention that they'll call you and be like, hey, we need you at this event or this hospital or whatever. And I know that you mentioned also that it does remind you, hey, I need to be there for somebody. But how much time does that take away from your family? I mean, if at all?
I'm lucky to have a very, very loving and caring and forgiving family. Mm-hmm. But I really try to give myself a life outside of the cow. Yeah. Because outside of the cow, I'm pretty boring. I like to watch movies all day with my little girl. Just today we watched a whole season of Tiny Toon Adventures. So when I'm with her, I'm completely there. But she knows when I start dressing up, she's like, "You gonna go to work?" Because so to her, it's work. She's like, "You gonna go to work?" I'm like, "Yes, I'm gonna go to work." She's like, "Okay, go be a hero, man." And I'm like, "There you go."
We need San Antonio to make a real bat say,
I know, dude. For real, that would be the shit. So does she ever tell any of her schoolmates, "Hey, my dad's Batman"?
Yeah.
That's so cool. That is so cool.
I've even done events, and I've taken my team to their fall festivals and things like that. And she's just proud as can be, because Batman is there pushing her, and she's introducing me to all her friends. And when I'm there out of the cow, they couldn't care. Yeah, they couldn't care. Like, oh, hey, whatever. And they see me like, "Hi, Batman." It's all hug and everything. But she knows that it's a job. She knows it's what I do. And she's proud of it. So even when she sees Batman on the TV, she's like, "Well, that's Batman, but this is Batman."
Yeah. So she knows the difference between she knows Dad's not going out to fight crime.
Right.
Dad's not going to get hurt. Dad's not going to put himself in any danger.
Yeah.
But I would assume, and again, just going off what you're saying, she also knows that you're doing such a great service for other people.
Yeah, like when we had the toy drive for this past Christmas, the garage was just full of nearly 1,000 presents. And she sees it. She's like, "So what are we doing, man?" Because she calls me man. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, these presents for little boys and girls in the hospital. They're sick and they're not going to be with their mommies and daddies. And so, me and the team are going to take these so they can have something. She's like, "That's so cool." She helps me wrap and put stuff together. So, she even at 4 years old, man, she does her job to give back.
She's 4 years old and she's got that mentality.
Yeah, man, she knows that it's better to give back. So she's there, and we're making Christmas stockings. She's here's a stuffed animal, here's a candy cane, and she helps, and it makes it so much better, because when she's not with me, she's still with me, because I know that these care packages were made by my little girl, and it makes them even more special to me.
For real. And so hold on real quick. So I have to ask this question. I have to. So when are we going to see Batgirl?
Oh, damn.
No, I already read it, man. I already read it.
She's done a few little appearances, and we have a board that we put up, and she's got a little Batgirl costume, cool. That she wears, and she tries. Mm-hmm. She wants to go to events, but she's still a little too little. Yeah. Sometimes my events go really long. Yeah. But when she gets a little bit older, she's already an honorary member. She's nice. So then your team. I have to ask. So who is all on your team?
On the Bat Alliance.
So in the Bat Alliance, we've got our members, and it's pretty much it's a very open door policy. If you're a cosplayer and you want to do some good, you want to join us, anybody's always free to go. But right now we have Green Lantern, which we're lucky to have him. We have Green Arrow, and we have Overwatch, and those guys are engaged. They're getting married coming up on St. Patty's Day. So big shout out to those guys. Nothing but blessings. We've got Wonder Woman on our team. We've got our little Batgirl. We've got Big Barda. So, we're just very, very happy to have everybody. And now we're adding in another Batwoman and Robin, a new Robin to
nice.
the team.
Okay, that's kind of what I was going to ask. Is there any duplicates, and do you have to have? Do you do like tryouts to see who's going to be?
The thing is we usually will ask you like show up to 2 events and find out if this is what you like, because a lot of people they just want to cosplay at conventions, and I understand, you want that vibe, it's really fun, but I'm like, we're kind of anti that, we're there at HEB and we're collecting food for the homeless and things like that, so it's a very unglamorous side of cosplay, but it's very necessary. So we're like, if you like what we do, you come with us for 2 events, then we talk as a team, like, so what'd you think of them? Were they cool? They're like, yeah, they were. So we give them an open invitation, like, yeah, join us whenever you want. Cool. You don't have to show up at every event, but when you have the time, you're more than welcome to join.
So then, so then, do you feel that if you see a cosplayer, for example, that is just an amazing cosplay? Because I mean, I go to Comic Cons, I nerd out, dude, and I go to Comic Cons and I see some of these other cosplayers that are, they look the part.
Right. Is he trying to recruit?
Well, actually, what I was going to say is, do you kind of feel like on this level of cosplay, like where they're just like, oh my God, that is, Thor, or that is, the Joker or whatever. Like, do you feel that those guys or the women, do you feel that those cosplayers not necessarily have an obligation to serve as you and your team does, but like, do you feel that they, I guess, like, how can I word it? Again, not that they need to, but be really cool if they did.
I mean, it's always cool if they did, and even if they just stop and they're polite, like if you go up to them, like, dude, you are an amazing Thor, like, hey, thank you. If you're at least kind and say thank you and you'll stop for a photo, then I think that's it. Because charity cosplay is a completely different animal. It's a completely different side of the coin.
Okay.
So I don't really go out recruiting. Usually, I'm proud to say that pretty much everybody on my team has approached me. They're like, hey, you know what? I want to cosplay. I've never done it before, but I like what you do and I want to be a part of it. I'm like, hey, great. And I tell everybody, I can work with a bad costume. I can't work with a bad attitude. We can just start off with something Party City, man, homemade. And, if you're cool and you're great with kids and you're just in it, you just have that spark and that fire, like, yeah, I want to do another hour. Like, let's go for it, man. Then the team itself will pool money and we'll get you the suit that you need.
Yeah.
We'll bring you up. And, if you're done and you've reached that, you're like, well, it's time for me to go. I want to do other things, or, I'm kind of burnt out. All right, man, thanks for the time.
Do they leave the costume?
Yeah.
They leave it with you?
Yeah, keep it.
Oh, they keep it.
Yeah, they keep it.
Oh. Okay.
So with the costumes, I have to ask you, because the one that I see on your Facebook and the ones I see in the videos and stuff, your costumes are awesome. Like, they're really cool. So do you order those, or do you also make a lot of your stuff?
I want to start making more of my stuff because I'm not that talented yet. I mean, I fumble around with a few things and I have made some stuff for the team, but I'm very, very blessed that I work with some amazing artists who not only cut me huge price breaks, and sometimes they're like, you know what, you do so much cool stuff, here's a cowl for free. You just pay for shipping or do something.
Yeah.
So, I'm very blessed in that regard. But yeah, I would like my hand to try to build a few things, and I'm actually working on something that I'm going to debut hopefully this summer. So fingers crossed that works out.
That's going to be cool, man. I mean, whatever it is, I'm pretty sure it's going to be badass, dude. So a little bit before the podcast, we were talking about, and I hate to say this word, but real job.
Yeah.
Not that what you do is not a real job, but I was, really wondering, do you do something during the day versus, this is your evening/weekend gig, or is this it, right? Because you had mentioned that you quit your job, but you do nothing else to supplement, right?
I'm lucky and blessed enough that I can support myself and my family with what I do, and motivational speaking and birthday parties and other things that people try to do. And there's a whole bat world that's incorporated there. Some people ask me like, can you make a video? Can you do presentations and do all this and that? So it's more encompassing that I can do a lot for people, and that's a good thing. But it's having like a quote unquote like grown up job.
Like
this is pretty much it. Yeah.
See, that's what we would like, because this is what we like doing.
Right.
To get paid to do something like this, like on a bigger stage. That'd be the best.
I mean, because of
course he loves what he does also, but this is what he looks forward to.
Right. I mean, I love my day job, and when I was doing stand up, because I did stand up for what?
Like 3, 4, 5 years.
5 years about. And when I first started doing stand up, I started with going to open mics and stuff like that. And then when I started to have shows, and
Headlining
and getting paid.
And how does it feel when you get a paycheck for something?
Oh my
doing?
God, dude!
You almost feel guilty for taking the money.
No, I do, man. And I would look at, I look out into the crowd, like if I'm coming back from a green room and I'm walking through the crowd and I see this crowd of people that paid to come see me, and I'm just like, what the hell, dude? Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
And then at the end of the night, you get that check and you're taking pictures and all this stuff. And it's just like, God, man, like, really?
Yeah.
Like, and that's what I wanted to do for the longest time. But with my day job and that gig, it really wouldn't work together. But now that we started doing podcasting, our podcast actually, and thank you to our listeners, that it has really popped off.
Yeah.
And
in the last month or two.
Yeah, in the last month or two. Now we have listeners. If you're listening, thank you. Over in the UK now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So we have listeners in Alaska.
2% of our audience.
Yeah, and we have listeners in Alaska. We have listeners in Hawaii. It's great, man. Like it's going really good. But I don't think I could be ballsy enough to just walk into my work and just be like, you know what?
Not right now.
Yeah. No, not right now. But that's really good, man. So we'll look forward to you making something and debuting it for the summer.
Here, I got something real quick.
Go for it.
I know you get a lot of positive reactions for what you do.
Yeah.
I'm not one of those that clicks on a lot of the comments on Facebook, things like that. But do you ever get any bad feedback from anything?
Oh yeah. I mean, I think, and I mean, you've got to know this. I mean, when you put yourself out there, with the public, you're gonna have people that.
But I can't see what they would criticize.
Like personally, they don't like you. They don't like your politics. Because a lot of people don't like the fact that I kind of shy away from doing cons and Comic-Con appearances. And to me, it's because I feel like if there are kids in a hospital that can't go to a comic convention, then I'm going to call DC Comics like, hey, can you send me about 1,000 comic books, or get with some of the local comic book shops here?
Yeah.
Like, hey, you guys give me something, we're just going to pass them out. So some people think, well, you think you're too good to hang out with us. You think you're too good to, mingle at Comic. I'm like, no, it's not it. I've just got a different
two separate things.
So, there's just that's the way it is. And, God bless them. If they don't like me, cool, man. But I've got, 7,000 people that like what I do.
Look forward to it.
And, if I get one kid, like I said, who just wants to read, wants to go to school, wants to embrace who they are, then that's the one that I worry about.
Yeah.
Not the negativity part of it, because it's going to be with anything and everything. There's always going to be people that don't like you, and I'm not going to chase after those people.
So then, now correct me if I'm wrong, but I heard or actually read through Facebook and because again, social media, there's so much things that are misconstrued. There's a lot of things like that. Was there a controversy with the whole baby King J thing, when you showed up, or did you show up to one of the vigils, I believe?
Yep.
And there were some people that reacted very negative to it.
I think that was a concern.
I haven't heard
right?
that.
That was a concern you posted.
Yeah, that was definitely a concern. As far if somebody was, I haven't read the post. But it was a huge concern for me, because I was just, I was at home, and all of a sudden I get a private message, and they're like, we want to do this public vigil for, King J. We just want to have a memorial, and we would really like you there. And so my first thought was yes and no. Yes, I want to, because, I followed the story, and it was so tragic and heartbreaking. Like, yes, to honor him, yes. But I didn't want anybody to think like, oh man, there he goes again, just showing up.
Yeah, see, and that's what I had read on Facebook. So for our listeners who don't know who baby King J was, I don't know how you want to phrase that without sounding disrespectful. But so for those of you who don't know about the baby King J story, it was a tragic event that happened here in San Antonio, Texas, where a baby was thought to have been abducted and later discovered by authorities to have been buried after a tragic incident due to neglect and possible abuse. That's probably one of the most horrific things I've heard. Of course you hear about, what was that one lady who drowned her kids over in Houston?
Yeah, that's as close to pure evil as you're going to find in the real world.
Dude, how do you, again, I have a 1-year-old.
Yeah.
There is no way I could ever imagine, even if, let's say worst case scenario, he died right then and there, I'm still taking him to a hospital.
Yeah, you call every and anybody.
Yeah, you do whatever you can. You don't stuff him in a backpack and stage you stage some kidnapping, But yeah, man, it's with that horrible event, and I read on Facebook that Batman of San Antonio showed up, and that he's there to promote himself and his and his business and this and that, and the first thing that I thought about, and again, this was obviously before I met you today, and before I knew a little bit more about you, I was just like, there's just no way. No, man, there's just no way. There's just no way that could be be remotely true.
No, I mean, I had to message lady. I said, thank you. I did follow the story. I really want to, but I don't want to take away, and I don't want anybody to see like it's a spotlight search or a grab or anything. And she's like, no, this is sponsored by me and my family and an organization, and we want you there because we know that King J's siblings they all loved superheroes, and they need somebody. They need to rely on a male figure right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Because the one they had was
it was just trash.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of soul searching, and I thought, okay, we're gonna do it. And I said, well, I've got a few requirements. Number one, I don't really want it advertised. I'm going to be there. Number two, I don't want to speak to any press. I don't want to speak to any media about it.
Yeah.
I want to stay in the back. So we were, we were there. We were very careful and tentative with everything that we did. People asked for photos, and we did. And the siblings came in. They cried. They hugged me, and I hugged them. And I told them, it's okay. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to be scared. It's okay to not know how to feel, because you're really young and this is a really difficult situation. So we got there and they said, well, we want you guys second row from the front. So of course, it was myself, Wonder Woman, Green Arrow, and Overwatch. And then they asked, would you mind sitting next to the kids, because they really need that support. Mm-hmm. So again, it was something that I was asked to do. I wasn't like, oh, I'm going to go up and, try to take a photo or anything. So I went and I sat with the kids, and I'm kind of holding on to them, hugging them. And one of the kids just, was a little girl. She's like, thank you for being here. And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. And that was it. And then my team and I went to the burial site. We paid our respects and we were done. But it wasn't about like, hey, look at us, or, we're here. It was, we were asked. We love our city. We follow the city. And, he basically, he became everybody's baby. At that time, because you had search parties going out. We got to find this child. So it was just a way just to honor a memory and to be respectful to his siblings. And one of the call-outs is why they did ask is one of the very first onesies that he was given was a Batman onesie, which is why I was contacted. So when I was told that, I'm like, yeah, I have to. Screw what everybody else is going to say. If they're like, oh, well, there he is again. He's just putting his cape and cowl where it doesn't belong. But you know what? Piss off, because it's for the family. It's not for you.
Absolutely.
Like it, great. If you don't, you don't.
Right on, dude. Yeah, because that was, like I said, when I read that, I was like, nah, that's something. Yeah. I mean, some don't. It just didn't sound right. So being Batman, let me ask you this much. Now I know you said that you had lost a ton of weight, or lost some weight. I guess a good amount, and whatnot. Yeah. So now, do you find yourself, I guess, like do you work out on a regular basis? Do you kind of try to train like Batman? Is that kind of a
I train to keep up with a 4-year-old.
Okay. No, it's just, yeah.
Because she's got endless amounts of energy, man. I want to stay around for her as long as I can.
Yeah.
And if a kid's going to see me, I want them to be like, yeah, you know what? He looks like Batman.
Yeah.
And, to the holidays, we all gain a little bit of weight, but it's always trying to be, in the best possible shape, to make the suit look good. But just to be able, because when I do birthday parties, I'm there and I'm out running with the kids, and to run with a cape and a cowl and boots and all this stuff. It's taxing, man. So I have to be ready all the time, because my days, I can have anywhere between 1 to 5 events in a day, and that's all day in a cape and cowl, and you sweat like there's no tomorrow. So you got to be in good shape.
Oh, bad, man. That's So then, I have to ask you. So then, how far do you, or how far into the character are you? So far as like, okay, so we all, people that follow the comics and people that, even follow the movies. It doesn't matter. People know that if you're into Batman, his quote unquote superpower really is that he's crazy intelligent.
Right.
The guy's always 2 steps ahead of you. Right. So like, do you find yourself like, you know what? I'm gonna read up on some stuff. Like, do you ever like try to like grow your? I guess you could say like grow your intelligence to kind of I guess keep up with that.
You can ask anybody on the team. You can ask me about any subject, and I'll have an answer for you, because I love to read. I listen to podcasts. I watch talk radio. I'm watching CNN news. About anything and everything. Mm-hmm. And I learn foreign languages. So I talk to children that don't necessarily speak English, or maybe they're hearing impaired, so I've learned how to do sign language, because nothing is greater than when the parent's like, oh, they can't hear, and you start signing, and they're like, oh my God, Batman no sign. You know, it helps complete. Yeah, it helps complete it. You know. But I don't try to be any particular Batman, because my character is just the Batman.
No, sure, yeah.
So it's my personality while I'm in the cape and cowl. And, I laugh at things that I would find funny. I joke about what and it's just me with all this extra stuff on.
See, I don't know, man. Like, if I was to be Batman, I would try to be Batman. Like, I would do martial arts, and I would do the whole 9 yards, dude. I don't know, but
I've done gymnastics before, and like if I'm doing birthday parties, and I had Robin with me one time, and we were in the jungle gym. And so all the kids are like running around. They're like, Batman, look at this big, I can jump here. And they're doing this. I'm like, yeah, I want to see this. And they had some gymnastics rings, and I held them up, and I did a 360, and I'm holding myself upside down. My cape is hanging, and I'm just perfectly, vertical. And then I just do a backflip, and the kids are like, oh my God, Batman's awesome.
Dude, that would have blew my mind.
I wouldn't expect the Batman to be doing
that.
And parents are there taking pictures. Can you do it again? Hold on. And so I'll do it. Because anything that helps sell it just a little bit more, and it's something that I can do, without the cape and cowl, because I've always liked stuff like that. So whether it's, karate, any kind of martial arts, yoga, I'm always trying to keep busy and always trying to upgrade, even if it's not necessarily with a suit, with myself.
Yeah. I mean, I tried, I was actually into jujitsu for a while.
Right.
And, so here I am. And that did not last very long at all, man. That is, I don't know if you ever tried jujitsu. Dang it, man! Like I mean, I'm out of shape as it is, but man, when you're rolling with somebody, dude, 2 minutes is a long time.
Oh yeah, it is.
2 minutes is a lifetime. I mean, I got into the whole jiu-jitsu thing. I was taking striking classes and stuff like that. It was fun, man, but I'll tell you what, man, there's just no way I can keep going with that, dude. I'm like, no, I love ice cream and donuts so much, man. There ain't no way I'm going to be dealing with that. So I got to ask you, because this question does come up a lot when, especially when you talk about like superheroes or cosplay or, or things like that. Phoenix Jones, you know who that is?
Yeah.
Okay, so Phoenix Jones, what are your thoughts on Phoenix Jones? Now, I know he hasn't done his deal in a while, from what I understand. But like, how do you feel about, or like, what are your thoughts about someone that's taking that initiative?
I think anybody that takes an initiative, just to do good is okay by me, and again, sometimes we have to take a break, we have to come back, and just kind of reignite the passion, or, life gets in the way. And I tell people this all the time, like members of my team, like, oh, I can't show up today, there's something going on with my family. So, I mean, if you have to step away and step back to see the bigger picture and come back, then I'm totally cool with it,
Yeah, man. What do you got?
No, I was going to finish what you were going to say.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, so
I just didn't want you to lose I don't know if you wrote it down or not, but he wanted to ask about if you have any competition, well, not competition, but is there other people in San Antonio that are doing kind of what you do?
Yeah, there are other cosplay teams that are out there, but I'm one of these people that I'm a horse in a race, man. I put my blinders on, and I can't focus on my mission if I'm focusing on what other cosplay teams are doing. What characters they have, or somebody else is trying to come up with a Batman. I'm like, this is my stable. These are my friends. These are my family members, and I'm going to take care of them. And we're just going to help as many people as we can. And if they're helping people too, man, that's great. That's more people that are going to be empowered, and kids that are going to, have people to look up to. But as far as, kind of just like, okay, well, what are they doing?
Trying to one up each other.
I just run my own race.
Yeah. Are villains allowed in? Obviously, not the Battle Lions, but do you have anybody that's ever tried to kind of?
Oh yeah, I mean, we've had people that you're like, I'm a really good Joker, or I'm a really good Deathstroke, and it's really hard for me to allow villains, especially with a name like Death, go into a hospital, because hey, this is Deadpool, or this is Deathstroke. It's harder, but those characters are really well loved. So we try to keep it, as positive as we can, but if we need be, especially during Halloween, we will let our characters, go bad, the bad versions of whatever, a zombie version. But for the most part, we try to keep it as positive as possible. We have had our Robin on the team, who's moving on to other things, but he used to be our Joker. And sometimes we would do birthday parties, and people are like, can we have a Joker? Like, try to take the birthday presents. I'm like, yeah, we can do that. That's cool. That's cool. No problem.
Yeah. See, I think
I was going to ask you, do y'all I mean, because I didn't want to categorize it with cosplay, but I was gonna ask y'all, do y'all ever do any skits like for Christmas or something like that?
Yeah, definitely. You know, we go in, we do Christmas skits, we do you know, birthday skits. You know, with pretty much anything that the families want us to do. You know, when we come in, when we drop off Christmas gifts, you know, we're singing Christmas carols, we're doing whatever it is. You know, whatever's going to make those kids happy and smile, then that's what we're going to do.
That's cool. That's cool. That's really. I think that's just so awesome, dude.
I kind of want to see that.
I know, dude. Like, if I can get Batman and the Joker, that would just be awesome. So then, so we're gonna segue into.
Well, I have one
got
last
one more.
thing.
You got one more.
Being a public figure, you and your group.
Yeah.
What I guess I don't know if I can say it. Then what's the next step, or what would you want to see come next for y'all?
It's something that we've been toying with for about a year and a half. Is we would like to become a fully functioning nonprofit organization. With just, again, the main goal is to helping children, and it's really hard because you have to kind of pick where your niche is. But we do so many things that it's hard to kind of whittle down because we don't want to be disrespectful to other people. You know, because we were just at the VA hospital for Valentine's Day, and we took Valentine's, you know, to all the people at the Fisher House. You know, the families, everybody else. The following day was Veterans Patients Appreciation Day. So I was there at the VA hospital for like 3.5 hours, just taking pictures with everybody, you know, every single person. So, you know, it's whatever we can encompass absolutely everything. So like when you pick a nonprofit, they're like, okay, you have to basically have one goal. What is it? And, you know, if I say kids, well, then it's harder to do the veteran stuff. So I'm like, well, if we can just do it just as independent people and just count on, you know, fundraisers or whatever we got to do, or some GoFundMe's here and there. We have, you know, great sponsors sometimes that just hook us up, you know, like, here, we're going to give you this, we're going to give you that. And that's what we do.
That's pretty good.
That's good. That's real good. So we're going to segue into.
All right, let's do it.
All right. So we get a little geeky with it. So, what was that?
I guess it's like fan questions, I guess.
Yeah, there you go.
And I guess this is for all three of us. Which is your favorite Batman from the films?
Ooh, for me, Christian Bale, by far.
What?
Christian Bale.
I thought that was the worst
You
one.
must be crazy. You must be crazy.
I thought that was the worst.
I don't know.
But I've got so many reasons why it's Christian Bale.
Okay.
And no offense. I mean, to me, ananybody that wore the cowl, Lord help me, even George Clooney, you know, because he got to do something I never did.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm sorry, you keep saying that word. What is that? What's the word you're saying again?
Cowl. Yeah.
What is that?
So a cowl, a mask basically just covers the front of the face. A cowl encompasses the entire head.
Oh,
so
okay.
everybody, that's the technical term for it, is a cowl.
Oh, okay.
So
don't look at me like you probably didn't even know. You just
I
didn't
knew
want to
that.
ask.
Dude, I'm a huge Batman fan. Come on, I already knew that.
Anyway, okay. I'm sorry. So why again Christian Bale?
But for me, it's Christian Bale because the guy's dedication was crazy. He did not want to take the role until he read the Arkham series comics. You know, somebody gave it to him. They're like, yeah, this is what we're going for. He was like, yeah, I'll do it. And, you know, all the weight that he gained, you know, from the machine. This guy was like, what, 113?
If that.
And he ballooned up to 220 in 4 weeks. I mean, that's crazy. You know, then he got too big and they're like, dude, now you got to drop 25 pounds. And so he did. So his dedication was, you know, bar none, crazy good. He had even auditioned for the role that went to Clooney. That went to Kilmer. He had actually auditioned for that. They're like, no,
that's the worst
Returns?
Batman, dude.
Yeah.
That is the worst.
They're like, we don't see it. So when he auditioned, he was actually in Kilmer's suit.
Okay.
And the thing was his neck was bigger than Kilmer's at the time. So when he put the cowl on, it was so tight around the throat that's where the Batman voice came from. And so he was like, you know what? It kind of works, because how would you scare a criminal? You know, you have to make like the most intimidating voice possible.
Yeah.
And the cowl's tight anyway, so that's kind of what stuck. So even when they made one that fit him, he already had his voice. But going back to why Christian's one of my favorite ones is when my father passed away, my dad was overseas in England because he was in the military. So I had to go back to London and had to, you know, do everything with my dad. And I'm at Heathrow Airport, and, you know, I'm sitting down, and all of a sudden I hear somebody like, hey, is this table free? Can I have this seat? I'm like, yeah, go ahead. And they said, thank you. And I'm doing stuff on my phone, and I look up, and it's Christian Bale.
Holy smokes.
And he's there in his bag, you know, I'm like, oh my God, it's Christian freaking Bale. So I just freak out. I'm like, look, I don't get crazy. I'm like, I just want to show you something. So I pulled out my phone, and I had my suit from The Dark Knight Rises. I'm like, I just want to show you that. He's like, oh, bloody hell, that's brilliant. That looks really good. is that me? I'm like, no, it's actually me. I'm like, I dress up as Batman. And so he's looking, he's, like admiring the work. And he's like, man, this is really good. It's fantastic, bloody brilliant. And so, we're there and he's like, oh, so what brings you to London? I'm like, oh, my dad passed away. He's like, oh, I'm so sorry. He grabs my hand, he shakes it. It's a good, firm handshake. He was honest with it. And somebody's like, Mr. Bell, like, and he's like, hey, it was great meeting you. He shakes my hand and he wishes me well. And he, again, like, sorry about your dad. And he walks off and I'm like, dude, that was so cool.
Dude, that is like...
I'm sitting there, ready for a 12-hour flight to come back home.
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting down like, can I sit here? Like, yeah, go ahead, knock yourself out. And I'm like, holy hell, it's Christian Bale. It's Batman. So
it's Batman. Dude.
Yeah.
That is, see, like, that would trip me out, dude. Like if I met Michael Keaton...
Okay, so is that your favorite Batman?
Yeah, dude, Michael Keaton, dude.
I gotta go with Michael Keaton. Because I'm ingrained that is. I know Adam West.
But here's the question: how did you feel when they first cast him? See, I always tell, because everybody looks back on it with rose-colored glasses. Because when now that Affleck's gone, everybody's like, oh no, Ben, come back, Ben. Yeah. But when they said Ben Affleck is new Batman, everybody was hating on him like crazy. Everybody was like, Ben sucks. Did you see Geely? Oh my God, Daredevil was terrible. And
Daredevil was terrible. I'm not gonna have
So he did what he did. He kicked ass at it. He really did. And the moment he was gone, everybody forgot how much they hated him to begin with. You know. So I really guess one of those rose-colored glasses things.
I don't know, man.
I was born and I saw Keaton. I mean, I don't even know if I was born during the time that the first one came out.
88, you were what, 87?
Yeah. Okay, so yeah. So I grew, that's Batman to me.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's just, that's my favorite. Okay, so your least favorite Batman then? Would you say?
My least favorite Batman.
Mine's Christian Bale. I mean, I understand why you're...
Clooney is my...
Clooney. I didn't think he was that bad.
Clooney's my
I would have to go with Val Kilmer. What about Joker? So the obvious debate is between Jack Nick and Heath Ledger.
Jack Nicholson's the best one.
You know what? I will answer that on my birthday, which is October the 4th, when the Joker movie comes out with Joaquin Phoenix.
Dude,
because that is, he's in the running. I'm sorry, just the way we've gotten some of the teasers. Mm-hmm. I think he's gonna be up there with Heath Ledger. I really do.
Dude, those new Joker teasers are, dude. Oh my God,
they're crazy.
So how did you feel about what's this? The guy that just did the Suicide Squad one?
Leto.
Dude, we're not even talking about that.
We're all in green.
That is straight garbage, dude.
That was just bad.
See, for me, thus far, I would say, for me, it breaks down into like a realistic sense and a comic sense. Because in a comic book, for me...
Here we go.
Man, shut up. Look, for me, Jack Nick takes the cake, man. Because he was more animated. It was more... He had that more kind of cartoony,
right.
More comic book feel to him. And I think he nailed it beyond, right? But when it comes to just the... Like, if you look how dark Heath Ledger was... Just, God, he was... literally, he was almost terrifying.
Did you see the Swedish documentary about him?
No, I have not.
Okay, so it's a documentary, and it was made by a Swedish filmmaker, and it didn't get any release here in the U.S., but they're basically talking about that he locked himself in his hotel room the entire duration of the filming.
Okay.
He slept only during the day. He was up all night, so when they had morning scenes, he could be really out of it, and he was just writing in this journal all the things that he thought the Joker would find funny. AIDS, kids dying, mass murders in Nigeria, things like that. And they're scrolling through all of it. And the last thing he's scribbling the words goodbye. And it's just so incredibly just heartbreaking to see how he put himself in there. Those last words are goodbye. You're like, oh man. But if we're talking about the clown prince of crime, it's still Mark Hamill, man.
You think so?
Oh, it is so.
Yeah. Mark Hamill. I know he's never done a live action. Well, actually, he kind of did. Do you remember the old TV show Birds of Prey?
Yeah.
Okay. So the beginning segment was played by another actor, but it was voiced by Hamill. So that was the closest we would ever get to seeing Hamill as a live action Joker. Because he did supply the voice for that actor. Dude. So to me, it's still, man, Mark Hamill's the ultimate Joker.
Dude, I mean, like I said, for me, ultimately, overall, would be Jack Nick, but Heath Ledger just, oh man, it's so crazy that that you bring that up. All that stuff he went through getting into character, and then obviously what unfortunately happened.
Yeah.
So, and again, just kind of touching back on things that I know. Again, just from doing stand up and loving stand up for so long. Do you know who Sam Kinison was?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so Sam Kinison, hands down, my favorite comedian. Okay, so they actually were going to do a what's it called? When they do like it's a movie, but it's like like a documentary, but it's a movie of their life.
Like a biopic.
Yeah.
Biopic, yeah. So they were going to do one about Sam Kinison, and the guy that did he was the guy from he's that little chubby fat dude with the curly hair. What movies? What's that movie about the ping pong? Remember that? It was the ping pong movie.
I don't know what
You have to look it up. But anyway, so they cast this actor to do Sam Kinison. And was it Balls of Fury?
Oh, Dan Fogler.
Yeah. There you
Fogler.
go. So they cast him to be Sam Kinison.
Yeah.
And he got into about almost 4 weeks, about a month into the character, and it got so dark that they just pulled it.
Yeah.
It just got so dark.
Oh, dude, yeah,
Oh my God, he was in
every vice you could have. He had.
Yeah, he had it, and so and Fogel, right?
Yeah.
So he was so into the character that he started to be Sam Kinison.
Oh man.
And they were like, nope, we're pulling it. So, and the same thing with Marlon Wayans with Richard Pryor.
Yeah.
So they were going to do the same thing with Marlon Wayans and Richard Pryor, but they ended up pulling that one too because he started to just really it started to like, nope, we need to pull this too. Like
they start going method. It's the same thing that Jim Carrey did when he did Man on the Moon.
Yeah.
He totally just immersed himself, man, to the point where they said a lot of times, the insurance weren't going to cover it anymore.
Yeah.
Because he was just going so far in the left field.
Dude, that's scary though. But man, could you imagine the next Joker if Joaquin Phoenix? I think he's a strong enough actor to where he would be able to handle, I guess that depth of darkness, but that stuff is scary though, man. That shit is pretty scary.
And I think Joaquin Phoenix is going to be the perfect blend of Nicholson and Ledger.
You think so?
He's going to have that cartoony kind of vibe,
yeah.
But he's going to have that anarchist as well. I mean, when you look at it, it almost looks like a perfect marriage of the two. Like if and not to be off color, but Nicholson and Ledger got it on and had a baby, it would be Joaquin Phoenix's Joker.
So if Jack Nick was in Brokeback Mountain, they would have had
they
would have had Joaquin Phoenix, right?
They would have had Joaquin Phoenix.
Dude, favorite Batmobile? Talk to me, dude. Which one is it?
Oh man, I've been lucky enough to drive so many of those things.
Have you really?
Yeah, because through Bat Loco, so I've driven the '89 version, the '66, which is beautiful, the Tumbler. Oh my God. For me, again, you're probably gonna hate this, but the Tumbler, man, that thing is it's a tank. It is a tank.
Well, you don't like that one either, right?
Well, no. I'm not saying that I don't like it, but my favorite one, just because I like old school cars.
Yeah.
I like rat rods. So the Adam West.
Oh, so you're taking it back. Was it 66?
Yeah, 66.
Yeah. So to me, that's it's nothing fancy. It just, for me, aesthetically, it looks so cool.
Yeah.
And
again, I got to be behind the wheel, of that thing, and it's so incredibly impressive. It's one of those things where it's almost too much for your mind to handle.
Yeah.
Because you're a kid and you see it. It's there on Saturday mornings or after school. You're like, that's the car. Like when I drive, that's what I need to do.
I want to drive.
Is that opportunity? Is that from being the Batman of San Antonio?
Yeah, it's from being the Batman of San Antonio. We always have an event with Saws and the River Authority where we have Bat Loco. Where it's 50,000 live Mexican brown free-tail bats under 35. So one of the last days that they actually come out to migrate, we put on this huge parade sponsored by the city, and there's always a Batmobile there. And this past year was the 66. Ooh. And dude, it was just beautiful. The phone worked. The siren worked, the parachute, all of that stuff. So I'm in there, and it's almost overload, man. It's hard being the Batman of San Antonio. You can't really smile because Batman's not a smiler.
Yeah,
And I'm there, and I'm right there, and I've got a signed Batmobile utility belt from Adam West.
Dude.
Cockpit has Burt Ward, screen used, and I'm trying not to smile because the 5-year-olds and be like, it's a Batmobile! And I'm like,
I'd be screaming too.
But I just have my eyes on it, I've just got this cool look like,
that's right.
It's happening.
Dude.
But inside I'm just doing flips. I'm like, man, it's the freaking Batmobile.
I wouldn't even know what to do if I was able to get in one. But I just, for me, that old 66, dude, that's just where it's at.
No, I would take an 89 or the Keaton one First one.
You want the Keaton mobile?
Yeah, there you go.
Anyway, so we got that one, and then what else? Which other ones do we have?
I guess we're talking about the Joker, but your favorite and least favorite villain that on screen wise?
My least favorite on screen, oh man, it would be Jeep Swenson's version of Bane from Batman and Robin. That was
that was terrible.
Oh,
it was
yeah, I
such
forgot
a
about
poor
that
attempt.
Yeah, actually, I like the Bane in the Clooney one. Is
That's the one he's talking about?
That's the one.
Oh no! I'm sorry. I was thinking of the newer one.
Oh, Christian Bale's Bane?
Yeah, my bad.
Tom Hardy, yeah.
Yeah. No, I didn't really like that Bane. I like the one from what's his name? George Clooney. I don't know. He just looked cool. Whatever. I don't know.
Did you like that movie at all? Just because I know that's like the worst. Well, it's rated the worst Batman. I liked it. That's one with Schwarzenegger, right?
Yeah.
I liked it.
It reminded me of the TV show, the 66 TV show,
Yeah.
from that campy point of view. But the thing is, like, when my little girl watches it, she loves it. So it definitely had its demographic, which was young kids. And to me, like, okay, if that is kind of her introduction into Batman, just so she can start graduating to different ones, then I'm okay with it. Because like now her big thing for superheroes is Teen Titans Go.
Yeah.
And it's hard to find somebody that actually likes that show.
It's very true.
People are like, dude, that song is annoying and blah, blah, blah. But she loves it. But now she watches the Titans show on the DC All Access app.
Mm-hmm.
It's like now, but that's what got her into it. So I'm like, okay, I'm willing to give everybody a chance.
I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. Teen Titans, that's kind of rough.
Yeah, no, I can't do that.
Yeah, I know I can't. So,
my favorite Batman costume?
Ooh. It's got to be the one from Batman versus Superman. Dude, that thing is so incredibly comic book accurate.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It really is. So speaking of comic books, so I take it, do you keep abreast of the comics as they come out? So then I have to ask you, because this is my favorite Batman series, is the Thomas Wayne.
Okay.
I don't know if you read that one.
Yep.
If you read that one, where he ends up being Batman, and Martha Wayne goes insane and she becomes Joker. If I'm telling you, for my listeners out there, if you have not read that series, it's the Flashpoint series from DC, and it's where Bruce Wayne gets shot instead of his parents, and his dad Thomas Wayne becomes Batman. But here's the thing: Thomas Wayne actually he takes life. He killed Killer Croc.
Carries a gun.
He
multiple guns.
Yeah, exactly. And so, and then his mom Martha Wayne goes insane over the death of Bruce, and then of course Thomas Wayne being Batman, she kind of loses her marbles, and she ends up being the Joker. Which, I mean, I don't know. To me, that was probably, again, just in my opinion, probably the best spin on the Batman story. Yeah. And I just love that. I just love that comic series. That one was awesome. And I just finished reading Batman Metal.
Yeah, Batman Metal.
Yeah. Oh, dude, those are awesome. Those are super, super awesome. I like those a lot.
What I think one of my favorite, probably two of my favorites that we're looking at is Hush. I love that story.
Yeah, that's a good one.
The whole storyline, because it had pretty much every single villain in there.
Yeah.
And I also love Court of Owls.
Court of Owls Court of Owls was really good. He doesn't.
I don't follow comics.
Yeah, Ray doesn't follow comics. I just go
with films.
He just go with films.
I only go with the Batman, the Michael Keaton films.
See, and then I'm the guy sitting in the movie theater yelling at the screen. That's not right.
That's not accurate.
That's not how it happens. Yeah, I'm the one there yelling at. Matter of fact, when we went to go, what was it? What movie was it? I went to go see with a buddy of mine. Black Panther. I went with a buddy of mine. Actually, he was on our podcast too. And then at the end of the movie, when it's dead quiet for a second, I go, "That's not how it happened."
Yeah, that's not real.
Yeah, and everyone's like, "Shut up."
Are you that way also?
I can be, but I save everything for when I get home, and that's when I rant.
Not this one.
I'm there in the lobby, raising a stink.
I couldn't hold myself back on The Last Jedi, though. Like, while the movie was going on, I'm like, Space Vegas? Like, what the hell is Space Vegas?
No,
and now we're talking about gas? I'm like, we've never talked about gas in Star Wars. If you're like, shh, I'm like, you shush. Like, I paid like $12.50. I can
Shut up, I'm Batman, man.
Right? Shut up, I'm Batman.
See, dude, I couldn't keep an identity like that and be like, "Shut up, I'm Batman."
No, actually,
you try to pull that card everywhere.
No, the funny thing is the voice kind of gives it away all the time. Because kids will ask, like, "Is that your real voice?" I'm like, "Yeah, this is my real voice. Like, this is how I talk."
I always wanted that when I watched.
Everybody is like, "Oh, is that like like stage voice?" I'm like, "No. This is real.
This is
how it sounds." Yeah. So like when I go out in public, I'll like try to raise the pitch up a little bit to kind of just throw people off. But one of the funniest things is I had done an event when the Dark Knight movie had come out. And so I was at Santikos and, I'm taking pictures with everybody. And this little boy is there and he's taking pictures with me. And so we're really hamming it up. So, we're kind of play fighting. And I'm like, okay, I was like, now you're going to punch me. So he punches me and I lay down, like, put your foot on my chest. So he does, he's doing his little arms, like he's flexing. The dad's taking all these pictures. And so I was like, man, it was great meeting you. Have a great time at the movie. And I've already seen it like 5 times at that point. I'm like, watch the movie. It's going to be really good. You're going to like it. And, fist bump, that's it. Next day, I'm going back to Santikos, but I'm like at Starbucks. And there's some people ahead of me and I'm about to get my cookie and my lemonade. And it's the dad and his son. And they're right there and he's talking to his buddy. He's like, hey, have you taken like his son like to go see the new Batman movie? And he's like, no, we're going to go today. He's like, dude, you have to go to Santikos. You have to go to Palladium. They got a Batman there. Dude, he was so good. Like, he's taking pictures with my kid, and I'm right, but Batman is right behind him.
Yeah.
He was like, the little boy's like, he was fighting with me, he was wrapping me in his cape, and I punched him, and I knocked him out, and blah, blah, blah. And he's so cool. And he's like, dude, I really think that was Christian Bale. Like, he really looked like he sounded like him. He was on point. He was great. And I'm just kind of there, kind of smiling, like, oh, man, thanks. It's great to hear. And so the little boy kind of looks at me, and I look down, I'm like, I'm going to get you next time. And so he's like, oh, and I was like, shh. And he's like, just shaking his head like, oh, okay, because he was like, crap, that's Batman. I was like, don't say anything. But it was like coolest thing, like to hear what people really think about you. Yeah. And so when, they moved aside, they're like, oh, what do you want? I was like, I'll take a cookie and a lemonade. I was like trying to hide it, like I don't want anybody to know.
Yeah.
But it was really cool. It was a cool experience.
That's awesome, man. I mean, I can only
That would be
imagine
pretty cool
just the
when
stuff
his
that
son
you
tells him like, hey, that was
like, that guy behind us with the cookie? That
was Batman.
See, to me, that's way cooler than just being like you see some old fat dude with a white beard, like, oh, that could be Santa Claus. Like, dude, that was Batman. That's awesome. Was there any more?
I got 3 questions and we'll wrap this up.
Let's do it.
Who would you want to see Batman take on if they were to put him in the Marvel Universe or bring someone from the Marvel Universe to DC? Oof. Who would you want to see them fight or collaborate with?
Oh, man, let's see. I don't think I want to see Batman work with anybody because if you're going to be really true to it, he's not really going to work with me. I'd like to see him either take on Black Panther. I think that would be an amazing fight. Captain America or Iron Man. Any one of those 3 core guys.
Iron Man.
That would be
genius versus genius, dollar to dollar. It's all going to come down to whoever makes the first mistake.
Yeah, no, you're right. But also too, and again, just because I'm a huge fan.
I already felt it. He's gonna start going off.
What? No, what? But I'm just saying, like,
you're gonna say something about the comic, right?
No. I was gonna say just because I'm a huge fan of the Punisher, I'd like to see Batman go up against the Punisher.
I can see
just because it's both dark.
No. I think just because, again, like with the Punisher, just his tactical background.
Yeah.
His knowledge of weapon use and technology, just stuff like that. And then of course you have Batman too. I still think Batman would take it. I mean, I do, but I think that'd be an interesting deal to see Batman against the Punisher.
I think if you look at all the people that I mentioned and the Punisher, I think the one that would probably come closest to beating Batman would be the Punisher. Because Frank Castle, like CIA operative, expert hand-to-hand combat. The guy thinks, 2 moves ahead, just like Batman does. So just on strength, talent, and just mind alone, that would be his closest comparison.
I think it'd be a good fight, but I still think Batman would take it. Yeah. I think at the end he would. What else you got?
Do you watch the show Gotham? Like, do you think that's at all good? I don't watch it because
I stopped watching after season 1.
Okay.
I really did. After that, I had zero interest because the timelines are really wrong. I was expecting Harvey Dent to be Bruce's age, maybe a little bit older.
Yeah,
but he's already an assistant DA. So the timelines are so off. By the time Batman's Batman, all of his guys are going to be, AARP members. Yeah. And then Batman
that's exactly
just looks like
why
a bully. He's beating up 60-year-old men. I'm like, that's not cool.
Yeah, no.
How do you feel about Ben Affleck stepping down? And then I was going to ask, I guess, how do you feel about him stepping down? And then you said you read or saw that that they have someone lined up, right?
Well, yeah. So I don't know if it was. I mean, if it's a rumor or if it's a joke or what, but they're talking about having Vampire Edward Boy from the Twilight.
I've heard a lot from my insiders at DC, and he's put his name in the hat that he's like, I'd love to be Batman. I'm like, no. And somebody else. This is probably going to make you even more mad. Nick Jonas. Come on,
dude. Are we really that far out of options?
No, man. Here's the thing. there are multiple reasons why Ben left. He only signed for 3 movies. Is really what he did.
Yeah.
He signed on for Snyder's universe. And when Snyder left, he was like, well, there's no reason because they had an arc for him.
Yeah.
And he already knew he was going to die. In Snyder's arc, he was going to die. So that's why he was like, yeah, I'm looking for a way out. So to me, I kind of felt very disrespected as a fan. I'm like, if you're given the opportunity, somebody goes like, here's keys to a Lambo, you can have it, and you're like, I think I'm going to put 1,000 miles and I'm going to give it away. That's disrespectful. I'm like, dude, you've been given the keys to the Batcave. Why would you ever let that part go? You're like, why would you do that? So I was like,
Did he do it because like the negative feedback?
No, it was when Zack Snyder was gone, he knew that his chance to bring Zack Snyder's story was over. And he knew that. So it was like, all right, well, I'm stepping down too. So, I mean, I get that from a standpoint of being loyal to Zack Snyder, but there were so many people, that weren't your biggest supporters that after they saw the warehouse fight scene of Batman, Superman, like, yeah, this is Batman. This is the way Batman should be. And then you're like, yeah, I'm already thinking about stepping down. You're like, why would you do that? So to me, I want the next person they get to want to be in it for the long haul, despite age. If you're already in your mid 40s, early 30s, late 20s, whatever it is, give us 4 to 5 movies, because these movies take a year to 2 years to produce and to come out. So even to do 10 years, you're only giving us maybe 3 to 4 movies. My insiders say that Armie Hammer has already locked in the role, because when Ben Affleck got announced as Batman, he already had the role for 2 years prior. He already knew. So he took literally a whole year to get in shape, and then there was a year of pre-production. So these guys know way in advance. While we're still like, hey, who do you think would be a great Batman? DC already knows who their Batman is.
Yeah.
They've already got it. And Artie Hammer's already said, well, no, it's not me, and no one's approached me yet. I call BS. I think he has the role. The guy is 6'5", he's huge. He had already been cast as Batman before in Justice League Mortal. Yeah. Before the writer's strike went on, and then everything was done. He was already fitted for the suit. So to me, it would only make sense to have somebody who's on a Warner Brothers payroll to fill in that spot. And he's still young enough to where he can go on in the future with it. And he's already worked with Henry Cavill on The Man from U.N.C.L.E. So we've already seen chemistry between those guys, and they work well together. So I would think Armie Hammer would be a good shot, personally.
Yeah, it would be good.
That's kind of what my last question was going to be, was who would you want to see take on the next role? And do they have a new villain?
No respect to Armie, man.
We've
been doing this for a long time, and I'll do it cheap.
Do they have the next villain lined up, or who would you want to be your villain if you were in Batman?
Let's see. Well, I mean,
or would you want
they were talking about Deathstroke. They definitely were talking about Deathstroke, which I think would be amazing. Josh Gad has talked that he wants to be Penguin. That would be really cool to see. Cool. But I want to see somebody that we've never seen before. Even though it would be really pushing it, I would like to see Clayface. I would like to see a Clayface come to life. I think that would be amazing, especially if you started it off where he's the failed actor. He's got the explosion, he's using the cream, and then he slowly morphs into the Clayface that we all know. I think an arc like that would be amazing.
That would be pretty cool. I mean, that's a lot of CGI. Man.
Yeah, it's a lot of CGI, man.
But
I think it could work.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah, that was it. But with Chris O'Donnell being Robin in Batman Forever?
Yeah.
And then, if I was understanding correctly, they were going to have Gordon Levitt be Nightwing. But then I think after Christian Bale stopped, it all got trashed. Would you have wanted to see? Because I think he would actually be a good Robin or Nightwing. I think he'd be a better Robin than Nightwing. But
I would have liked to have seen maybe like a Batman Beyond kind of situation, like a whole revamped bat suit. Everybody knows like, okay, this isn't Batman, but it's Batman somehow. And then maybe, a little cameo of Bruce Wayne at the very end.
That'd be pretty cool.
I think that'd be cool.
That'd be pretty awesome. I think it would. I mean, yeah.
Anything you got going on that you'd want people to hear about?
Oh man, you can follow me on Instagram or Facebook. All of my events are always there. Whether it's with me or the team, and if you are in the San Antonio area, anywhere in Texas, really, and you have a birthday party or there's a school event you need me to attend, it's as simple as messaging me, and I will message you back. I promise you within 5 minutes, unless I am severely busy with something else. But I answer every single message, every single page. And if you have a child that's being bullied or anything else, I also send out private messages to that child, to just persevere, stick with it, and, just be the best they can. I'm here to help. That's what my team is here to do. We love what we do. And, I want to thank you guys for having me on.
Oh, man, we love having you
Yeah,
on.
this was fun.
Yeah, this is so awesome, dude.
I listened to your show. I'm like, man, that's cool, man. I was like, I felt really honored. I'm like, man, I'm going to be on this podcast, guys. And last thing, if you guys haven't seen it, watch Umbrella Academy on Netflix.
Okay.
It's the last thing I'm going to leave you. Watch Umbrella Academy. I promise you, if you like the X-Men, you are going to love Umbrella Academy.
All right.
It's X-Men done right.
There we go.
Tell you.
I stuff done right is what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear. But but again, thank you so much, man, for being on here, Batman. This is like, again, just for me, just for being a geek and a nerd about it, man. I love it. It was so cool. And I know you guys can't see for obviously your listeners, but he's sitting here with the Batman mask on. And yeah, dude, it's just so awesome, man. I had a great time.
Not to sound like I'm blowing smoke, but I don't know if it's because I can see you on Facebook, and anybody that's on Facebook with the video, it almost seems like an actual celebrity. But I kind of feel like, like it's a real Batman person.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, we have real Batman, the real Batman of San Antonio, ladies and gentlemen. So again, guys, thank you for listening tonight. Thank you for listening again, guys. If you guys have any questions, please email us. Any questions, concerns, dreams, desires,
anybody
fantasies.
That they want to see us.
Yeah, exactly.
Or hear us talk to.
Yeah. So if you guys have any other suggestions that you guys want to bring up to us, please email us at hnkpodcast@gmail.com. Again, that's hnkpodcast@gmail.com. Again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. Take care.